Be prepared. Today might just be one of the most important days for you, and you don't even know it. October 12th doesn't look unusual, but deep down, it has a significant meaning for those like you, people attuned to spiritual energy. This day is hiding something that most of us aren't even aware of. While it may not seem like it, this day is crucial. And if you don't pay attention to what's taking place right now, you might miss a turning point that was never meant to be obvious. And when you finally discover why this day is so special, everything will make sense. There are days where everything feels normal until it doesn't. Today is one of those days. For weeks, subtle shifts have been building in the background. You may have felt random bursts of emotion, strange moments of clarity, or unexplainable changes in your energy. Most people brush them off, but not everyone experiences time the same way. Spiritually attuned people, the ones who notice patterns others dismiss, have already picked up on the pressure building around this date. It's not a prediction, it's recognition. A quiet knowing that something is about to tip. And if you're spiritually attuned, it's crucial that you pay attention right now. You need to be aware of what's taking place beneath the surface. Because if you're not, you'll miss something you were meant to catch. And here's the thing. One of the reasons why this day is so important is not really about what takes place today. It's about what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, the moon locks eyes with Jupiter, but you'll feel it tonight. This isn't just an astrological event, it's a pull between emotion and expansion. The moon rules what you feel, and Jupiter magnifies whatever it touches. When these two meet, it's like your inner world gets amplified through a cosmic loudspeaker. You might feel an overwhelming urge to do something big, to shift something that's been sitting still for too long. Some will suddenly see their next step with absolute clarity, while others will feel restless, unable to explain why everything suddenly feels too small. Think of today as the pullback before the launch. The universe is stretching the slingshot, holding tension in every moment you hesitate or second-guess yourself. The pressure you feel right now isn't punishment, it's propulsion. This energy doesn't start in the sky, it starts inside you. You'll notice emotions that were buried begin to expand, not to overwhelm you, but to move you. The moon's reflection meets Jupiter's fire, and suddenly what you feel becomes too big to hide. This is emotional exposure at its finest, the kind that cracks your shell just enough for light to get in. By tomorrow, the release comes. You'll understand why today felt so compressed. It's the inhale before the exhale, the pause before the breakthrough. And when that expansion hits, don't resist it. Because this time, it's not just the sky that's aligning, it's you. There's a quiet group among us, the ones who've spent years on the sidelines, watching, absorbing, staying unseen. After today, their stillness ends. The observers become the frequency. These are the ones who have been learning without noise, growing without validation, and holding awareness like a secret flame. Now that flame is catching. Without saying a word, their energy begins to shift entire rooms. People will feel it before they understand it, that subtle authority that comes from those who've met silence and made peace with it. The world's attention has been on the loud ones, the visible ones. But after this energetic turning point, the spotlight moves differently. It starts following vibration, not volume. The silent ones are becoming anchors, the stabilizers of the chaos that's about to unfold. They won't lead through words, but through presence. Some awaken to speak, others awaken to hold the space for what's coming. And you might be one of them. If you felt unseen, unheard, or misunderstood, that was never a mistake. It was preparation. After today, invisibility turns magnetic. The quiet souls step forward without stepping out. The world begins to sense who's really awake and who's just making noise. This date wasn't random, it's a code, and it activated something inside you the moment you woke up. October, the 10th month, always carries the vibration of completion. It's the point in the cycle where things can't go back to what they were. 10 represents endings, karmic closure, and the wrapping up of a storyline that has overstayed its welcome. Now add the 12. 12 is the number of divine order, spiritual testing, and mental realignment. It's not chaos, it's calibration. Whenever 12 appears, it signals that the soul is preparing for the next stage, the unseen transition before transformation. That's why people feel off balance right now. The energy of 12 doesn't comfort you, it confronts you. It shows you everything that's out of sync, not to punish you, but to push you toward harmony. And tomorrow, the 13th, completes the sequence, the true reset, the moment of transformation. It's no coincidence that it aligns with the moon's conjunction with Jupiter, a symbol of emotional expansion meeting cosmic purpose. The 12th is the doorway. The 13th is what's waiting on the other side. You might feel that something inside you is shifting, even if your day looked normal. That unease is the body's way of interpreting an energetic code that only the soul understands. Dates are not numbers on a calendar, they're timestamps for destiny. Today's date marks the final checkpoint before a major energetic change, and if you're feeling pressure, restlessness, or sudden bursts of insight, it's because you're reading the code correctly. Something happened this morning that most people won't understand. A silent sorting took place, a mass shift on a soul level. Some woke up perfectly aligned, while others felt displaced, uneasy, or detached from the reality they thought they knew. When energy no longer matches your path, life moves you, whether you agree or not. Today marked a spiritual eviction notice for those who've outgrown their current frequency. It's not punishment, it's relocation. Certain souls were removed from old paths they no longer matched. Others were pushed forward, thrown into new phases they didn't consciously choose. You might notice sudden relationship shifts, emotional distance from familiar people, or a feeling that something quietly left your life without explanation. That's because it did, energetically. The universe doesn't wait for permission when alignment is overdue. If someone or something vanished from your path today, understand it as divine timing, correcting its own course. Likewise, if you suddenly feel called to move, to start, to break free, that's your soul being fast-tracked. This realignment began today, and it's accelerating rapidly. We are entering a period where vibration determines location. People are being repositioned, not by force, but by resonance. You don't lose people when you rise, you just move to a frequency where they can't enter without transforming. What happened today wasn't random. It was the universe reshuffling reality to match truth. Those who resist will feel chaos. Those who flow will feel freedom. And from this point forward, nothing will fit that isn't meant for you. Not everyone will notice it, but if you're watching this, you probably will. There's something subtle unfolding today, something only the tuned in will recognize. It won't look supernatural. It won't arrive with thunder or lightning. It might come as a word someone casually says that seems to echo louder than it should. It might be a stranger making brief eye contact that feels strangely familiar. Or it could be something simple, a symbol, a number, a repeated phrase that stops you mid-thought because it feels too deliberate to ignore. These moments are not coincidences. They are alignment markers. The universe doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, and only the awake can hear it. Signs don't appear to prove something to you. They appear because you finally reach the frequency that can notice them. Today, a subtle signal will pass through your reality, and it's meant only for you. Don't chase it. Let it come. You'll recognize it by the way it makes you pause, as if time itself briefly holds its breath. The moment might seem insignificant, but later it will unfold into something larger, like a key that fits into a door you didn't know existed. So, pay attention. The stranger's look, the repeated number, the phrase that won't leave your mind, they're not random. They're confirmation that you're in sync with something vast, something rearranging itself through you. Most people will miss it entirely, too distracted by noise to notice the whisper. But if you're still enough, aware enough, you'll catch it, and you'll know this day was never ordinary. Today's energy is loud, emotionally, mentally, and energetically. You might find yourself more easily agitated by things that normally don't bother you. People's voices feel sharper, lights seem brighter, and conversations that used to feel fine suddenly drain you. This isn't just stress. It's your inner system moving into high alert because something in the collective energy just shifted gears. When your awareness expands, it heightens your sensitivity to what's authentic and what's not. You start detecting energy leaks, fake smiles, forced conversations, spaces that feel heavy for no reason. Your spirit isn't irritated, it's discerning. What feels like overstimulation is actually your intuition rejecting anything that's false, hollow, or out of tune with your new frequency. Many will misread this as emotional burnout or anxiety, but it's actually spiritual filtration. Your consciousness is fine-tuning what it allows in. The truth is, your body is adapting to a louder frequency, not because you're fragile, but because you're refining. Think of it like tuning a radio. At first, there's static, noise, discomfort. Then, clarity. So if you feel on edge today, don't panic. The sensitivity is evidence of expansion. You're not losing patience, you're losing tolerance for what's fake. And that's how awakening starts showing in real life. You begin to crave truth in every frequency, every sound, every interaction. The noise of the world gets louder right before your soul learns how to listen. Something behind the scenes has changed sides. For a long time, the spiritual war has been background noise, a faint hum beneath everyday life. It's the invisible push and pull between creation and decay, truth and deception, awareness and illusion. Most people never notice it. They just feel its effects, sudden chaos in their routines, strange emotional heaviness, or moments where the world seems slightly off. But after today, that war isn't hidden anymore. It hasn't erupted into chaos or destruction, but it's moved closer to the surface. The influence has shifted, and what used to control the board no longer does. This isn't about light versus dark in a dramatic sense. It's about influence. The forces that once quietly directed belief, attention, and energy, they've started rearranging themselves. Power structures, systems, and even collective thought patterns are changing hands. The same words don't carry the same energy they used to because something behind them has changed ownership. You'll start to feel it first as confusion. Things that once felt aligned now feel off. Leaders who once inspired now sound hollow. Messages that once felt pure now seem tinted. It's subtle, but it's real. The war has entered a new phase, and it's no longer happening above you, it's happening through you. Every choice you make, every conversation you engage in, every thought you feed now contributes energy to one side or the other. The battle lines aren't drawn in the sky, they're drawn inside consciousness. The new battlefield isn't out there, it's your attention. Don't assume old allies are still allies. Just because something once resonated doesn't mean it still carries truth. Some energies that once served light have been infiltrated, softened, or twisted into comfort rather than clarity. The forces of manipulation are evolving. They don't need to lie anymore, they only need to distract. And after today, distraction has become their most powerful weapon. This is why discernment becomes sacred now. Not suspicion, not paranoia, but clarity. Something changed hands today. The energetic control behind major ideas, belief systems, and even personal motivations has shifted sides. That's why you might sense both heaviness and liberation at once. One system losing its grip, while another begins to take form. It's uncomfortable because it's transition, not collapse. What once ran silently beneath everything is now asking to be seen. So pay attention to what calls for your energy, to what steals your focus, to what suddenly feels off, even if it looks the same. That's where the shift happened. And the truth is, awareness itself is the only weapon that still works. In this phase of the war, your consciousness is both the shield and the sword. After today, you're going to start noticing a strange pattern. Things that shouldn't connect suddenly will. Moments will line up with eerie precision. People you haven't spoken to in years will appear at the exact time you were thinking about them. Random words from strangers will answer questions you've been silently asking. Clocks, numbers, songs, even minor interactions will begin to form a rhythm, and you'll swear reality is playing along with your thoughts. What used to be coincidence is now communication. This isn't random, it's calibration. The universe has always been interactive, but most people were out of signal range. After the energy shift of today, that signal becomes louder, clearer, and more responsive. Think of it as reality tightening its feedback loop. The time between thought and reflection, intention and manifestation, recognition and confirmation, it's collapsing. You think it, and the world mirrors it back almost immediately. That's why things will start to feel strangely scripted, almost cinematic. You might feel like life is responding to you in real time, because it is. What's happening is that the fabric between normal and unbelievable is thinning. The ordinary world, where logic, order, and probability rule, is beginning to overlap with the symbolic world, where emotion, meaning, and energy take the lead. You're standing in both, and that's why reality is starting to echo. But here's the catch. This acceleration doesn't just amplify what you want, it amplifies what you are. If your energy is clear, you'll see synchronicities that uplift and confirm. If you're scattered, you'll draw chaos that forces you to pay attention. That's why, from this point forward, self-awareness becomes a survival skill. You can't afford to be careless with your thoughts or casual with your words, because the echo now arrives faster than ever. In this new energy, every thought becomes a seed, and every emotion becomes weather. The so-called impossible coincidences are reality's way of retraining your perception. They're not tricks, they're calibration tests. The universe is fine-tuning how quickly you notice connection. The more you acknowledge the patterns, the sharper your awareness becomes, and the stronger the feedback loop grows. It's like turning up the brightness on a hidden layer of existence that was always there, waiting for you to look up from your distractions long enough to see it. So if your next few days start to feel uncanny, don't dismiss it. The repeated symbols, the perfect timing, the déjà vu, they're confirmation that you're syncing with the intelligent flow of reality. This is the stage where life stops happening to you and starts happening with you. The more you participate, the clearer the code becomes. And remember this: synchronicity isn't strange when you're aligned. It's strange only when you've forgotten who's listening. From today onward, the universe won't whisper anymore. It will answer. Today isn't just another day. It's a crossroads disguised as an ordinary day. Most people are going about their routines, completely unaware that something invisible is being decided through them. The truth is, the most powerful moments in life rarely announce themselves. They unfold quietly, through small choices, subtle reactions, fleeting thoughts. Yet those micro-decisions end up shaping entire realities. The universe never waits for your permission. It moves when your energy decides. What's happening today isn't an external event. It's a lock-in point. Somewhere beneath the noise of your conscious mind, your spirit is making a decision. You may not realize it, but it's happening. It isn't made through words, rituals, or even intention. It's made through your frequency, the energy you've been carrying this entire year. Every time you acted out of alignment or leaned into truth, every time you hesitated or surrendered, every time you avoided growth or embraced it, all of it has led to this exact calibration point. Today, that energy is condensing into a single spiritual direction. The split people keep talking about, the division between timelines, frequencies, or realities, it isn't coming. It's unfolding right now. Most won't notice it yet because it doesn't appear as sudden chaos or divine fireworks. It shows up gradually, like realizing in real time that the landscape of your life is shifting without warning. The conversations feel different. The energy in certain rooms feels unfamiliar. Things that once mattered stop resonating. It's not confusion. It's alignment, catching up to awareness. Think of today as signing a spiritual contract in your sleep. You're not using ink. You're using vibration. Whatever you've been feeding energetically, fear or faith, avoidance or truth, stagnation or growth, that's what's being sealed into your trajectory right now. The future isn't waiting for your choice. It's already building from the one you're making without noticing. The timeline you're now stepping onto begins the moment your subconscious stops hesitating. The universe simply mirrors your pattern and says, "So be it." This is why nothing feels the same today. Not because something outside you changed, but because the reality you've been resonating with is finalizing its direction. You are already in motion toward the outcome that matches your inner frequency. For some, this means acceleration, breakthroughs, clarity, divine alignment. For others, it means unraveling, the slow dismantling of what was built on pretense or denial. Either way, both are truth, both are progress, both are part of the same realignment. What makes this day so powerful is its invisibility. Nobody feels like they're making a decision, yet every soul is. You don't have to say yes or no. Your vibration is already speaking on your behalf. Your energy signs contracts your mind hasn't read yet. That's why in the coming days, you'll start seeing the ripple effect of today. Relationships will either deepen or fade without conflict. Opportunities will either magnetize toward you or vanish without closure. Paths will diverge, not from choice, but from resonance. October 12th isn't about prophecy, it's about permission. The moment the universe stops waiting for you to decide and simply matches you to the world you've been building through every thought, every action, every vibration leading up to now. You're making the choice right now. You just haven't realized yet what that choice is creating. October 12th isn't the ending. It's the ignition. Right now marks day one of a 3-day intensity window where everything that's been hidden, suppressed, or avoided begins to surface. The next 72 hours will feel like standing between two realities, one that's trying to dissolve and another that's trying to emerge. Every thought, every emotional reaction, every intuitive nudge during this time carries weight. You are now inside the space where energy decides who's paying attention. What's about to unfold in the next 3 days isn't random. It's a convergence of everything you've built energetically up until this moment. The choices you make, and even the ones you refuse to make, will shape the tone of the next chapter. This is the kind of energy that magnifies truth. It doesn't care about what you say you want. It amplifies what your soul is actually choosing. If there's something you've been pretending not to see, it will now press against your awareness until you either face it or break under its weight. What you ignore during this window won't disappear. It will calcify. It becomes confusion, misdirection, or regret that haunts you later. But what you acknowledge, no matter how uncomfortable, becomes your new source of power. The things you dare to look at honestly, the mistakes, the self-deception, the forgotten dreams, they transform into clarity. Awareness is alchemy. What you see honestly can no longer control you. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to heal every wound or rewrite every story. You just have to see it clearly, soberly, without denial. Awareness itself is the first act of transformation. Think of it like a spiritual light switch. The moment you flick it on, the shadows start rearranging themselves. You may feel emotional volatility, fatigue, or mental overload, but that's not collapse. That's release. You're shedding the density that kept you numb. Over the next 72 hours, reality will test your awareness by presenting mirrors everywhere, in people, in conversations, in coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. You'll know exactly what you're being asked to face because it will sting. It will trigger you, frustrate you, or expose something you thought you'd already healed. But this time, instead of reacting, pause. Watch. Don't rush to label it good or bad. Simply see it, because the moment you acknowledge it, you take its power away. This period is a frequency audit, a vibrational sorting where clarity becomes currency. The more aware you are, the lighter you'll feel. The more you resist, the heavier everything becomes. The universe rewards awareness and punishes avoidance, not out of cruelty, but out of precision. The energies around you are intelligent. They respond to consciousness. When you look at what's true and say, "I see you," you signal to the universe that you're ready to operate at a higher level of responsibility. And that's what this window is all about. Responsibility for your vibration. These next 3 days will decide whether you spiral into emotional fog or rise into razor-sharp clarity. One path leads to collapse, a recycling of old patterns, familiar pain, predictable results. The other path leads to expansion, the quiet understanding that everything you've been searching for begins with awareness. You're not being tested by some external force. You're being refined by your own evolution. October 12th is the alignment. The days that follow are the integration. They'll determine whether the shift becomes wisdom or just another missed opportunity. If you can see it, you can shift it. But if you keep pretending, it owns you. So for the next 72 hours, stay aware. Notice what pulls at your emotions, what feels heavy, what feels alive. Don't fight it. Observe it. Let the energies know. You're awake now. You see what's happening. And in a universe that runs on awareness, that single act changes everything. If you're still watching, I'd like to thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, please consider clicking the subscribe button. Your support is very appreciated. Feel free to share your experiences or thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care and subscribe for more insightful content.